Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing well and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my March roundup. I'm going to be going through all of the new products I've been trying out this month and I'm going to give you my final review. I'll tell you if I love them, if I hate them, if I forgot about them, all those good things. I'm also babysitting both dogs today. I've got Charlie on this side and Maven on this one, and Maven's after my jewelry. All she wants to do is chew my rings today. Oh, go to bed. So before we get into it, I would love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It means so much to me, and let's get to it. So I'm first going to start off with my favorites, of course, and I'm going to kick it off with this NYX Cosmetics mini stack. This is their Neutral Browns Petite stack, and I actually have been loving this a lot more than I originally thought I was. I've been using this pretty much every time I do my makeup on my off days if I'm not filming. I just love how easy it is to use, and I also love how it's all paper packaging. I think that's really awesome. It's super easy to throw into a makeup bag, bring with you, and it's honestly really fun to use on the everyday as well. I think this is such a great little stack because they're perfect neutral colors, therefore they'll match any blush or lip you pair with them. So this has been a really great product to have for the days where I'm not sure what I want to do with my makeup. I just know that it's going to perform well, look good with anything I'm going to follow up with. It's been great, and the quality is the normal NYX Cosmetics quality. I'm wearing this little stack on my eyes today. I think the shadows are super easy to work with, they're super blendable, and they have the perfect amount of pigment. I love NYX Cosmetics eyeshadows. They're by far some of my favorite across the board. Their eyeshadows are my favorite thing that they offer, that's for sure. So this little thing surprised me over this month. I did not expect to get this much use out of it. I think this is a very versatile product and I highly recommend it. The next product I want to talk about is also from NYX Cosmetics, and they launched some cream blushes this month. I was honestly very hesitant about these products just because I never really got along with their powder blush formula. I found that they were always too texture enhancing. They were always far too pigmented for my liking. So I wasn't sure how I was going to get along with these products, but I have been pleasantly surprised. These are the only blushes that I've been using ever since I received these in the mail. I haven't used all of the shades yet, but the ones that I have used have been amazing. They wear nicely, they're long wearing, and they're super easy to work with as well, which can be tricky with some cream blushes. They do have a couple of formulas. There's some that have a nice pearlescence and there's some that are just flat colors. The only shade that I have issue with is the deepest one, which is the shade Daydreamer. This one sadly has chunky glitter in it. That is quite obvious once it's on your skin. So that's the only shade that I would maybe stay away from if you're not a fan of glitter. But the other shades, specifically the ones with just a pearlescence, they're really nice. They don't have any chunky glitter in them. But I would recommend any of the other colors. They're phenomenal. I really like the pearl that is in the ones with some pearlescence. It's nothing too crazy. It doesn't make you look greasy at all. It just makes your skin look very luminous and dewy and glowy and all the good words. Here are all the blushes opened. If you want to see them swatched against my skin tone, I'll link the video that I swatched them all for you. My favorite thing about these blushes is definitely the shade range. I think the colors are so beautiful and they just ooze summertime, you know? I have another blush formula I'm going to be talking about. These are from Quo Beauty. These are their powder blushes. I have two shades here that I've been trying out. This one right here is Brown Sugar. This is the one I've been using the most. It's a really nice brownish nude for my skin tone. And this one right here is Coral Crush, which is this really unique, very vibrant, here, sometimes this packaging, it really sucks to open, I'm not gonna lie. You really have to dig your nail in there, but it's a really unique, bright orangey coral peach. It's all those things. I can't imagine how fun this is going to be once I get a nice little tan. This formula is super easy to work with. I've tried this formula out with a bunch of different brushes, and the outcome is flawless every time. I find these ones to be perfectly pigmented. There I go again. I find this formula to be perfectly pigmented. They're not too sheer nor too pigmented, so they're super easy to work with, and if you were to pick one up, I don't think you'd be disappointed in them at all. So there's another winner for Quo. The next winner of the month for me was, surprisingly, this Bite Beauty Upswing eyeliner. I wasn't expecting to love this as much as I did again, just because I never got along with any type of eyeliner in this type of packaging. Any liquid liner like this was always a fail in the past. Either I didn't like the applicator or the formula itself was too shiny for my liking. but this one right here is so easy to work with, and I haven't been using anything else. I love the formula. Its finish is super matte and very long wearing. It doesn't transfer onto my oily eyelids at all. Once it sets, it stays put. And I also really like the applicator because it has this really nice flexible tip on the end, which allows you to really follow through even if there's a change in pressure. And that just allows for a non-skippy eyeliner. It just works really, really nicely. There was a tiny learning curve for me just because I've been solely using gel liners or doing my eyeliners with a brush. So it took me a little getting used to working with this type of applicator. But once I got a hang of it, it's super quick and easy. I just really like it. I have some eyeliners here. These are the Quo Beauty gel liners. I will say that they're not the most long wearing in the waterline, but I love these specifically to use as bases or just as liners around the eye. I just have a little bit of trouble with them in the waterline. They fade where my eyes tend to water the most, so I think that's important to mention, but I have been loving using these as bases or to smoke out my bottom lash line or whatever. These are super easy to blend out. There's a lot of working time there, and they have some really unique colors that I haven't seen anywhere else. They kind of remind me of the colors of the Glossier Play line, but sadly those ones were so terrible, so I'm happy I found these liners. So I know these are eyeliners, but I've been mostly using them as shadow sticks. Here are some swatches of the 3 liners I have. So the lavender purple one does have kind of a sheen to it. That's the shade Amethyst. The one in the middle is Mighty Mint, and the last one there, which is like a forest green, that's the shade Sea Green. I have an eyebrow pencil here. This is the Huda Beauty Hashtag Bomb Brows Micro Shade Brow Pencil. So I really like these because I like to make hair-like strokes sometimes in my brows, and I have never seen a smaller eyebrow pencil in my life. Can you even see the tip? I'll compare it to the Haus Labs one. I'm going to do the classic beauty guru thing. The thinner one is obviously the Huda Beauty one, and the other one is the Haus Labs, but I really, really love the Huda Beauty pencil. It stands out to me because it's really cool to have a pencil be able to create little brow-like strokes. This product totally depends on how you do your brows. If you are someone who needs to fill in your brows quite a bit with a pencil, do not get this one. You'll run through it within a week. But if you're just adding little details, or if you just have a tiny portion of your brow that you need to fill in, I think this would be a winner. The formula itself of the pencil is very similar to any other pencil out there, I will say, but I think it's just the size that wowed me, and I have been using this pencil like crazy over the month. I think this would be a great one if you are into the spiky brow trend, or if you like doing soap brows. This is a really great one to achieve a fuller look. My following favorite has been the Persona lip liners. I've been using the shades Dusk and Almond the most. I only have one in front of me right now. This is the shade Almond. I have to say this one is my #1 favorite. I've been getting a ton of use out of this one. I find this shade to be very similar to the NYX Cosmetics, was it Kitten or Fawn? Let me double check. It's closer to Fawn. So Almond is in the middle by Persona. This one is NYX Cosmetics Kitten, and this one is NYX Cosmetics Fawn. But I really like this one's formula. I find that it sits right in between of a blurring lip liner and one that is super defining. It's just in the middle there, so it's perfect for the days where you want a crisper lip line, but you don't want it to be so sharp, if that makes any sense. The NYX Cosmetics ones are great for a blurring effect. They make for a softened lip line, just to compare them both, but I have been loving this color. It's pretty universal for the colors that I like to reach for my skin tone. I'm using this shade on the perimeter of my lips today. This one has been pretty much the only lip liner I've been using for the last couple of weeks. And my last favorite has been the NYX Cosmetics On The Rise Volume Mascara. I'm wearing it on my top lashes today. I love how volumizing this one is, but what's really cool about it is like you can build and build it and build it up, but it never gets clumpy or chunky, or it doesn't fall apart at all. And I've only ever had that in one other mascara, and that is the Pat McGrath Fetishized mascara, the original one she came out with, the one that's in the black tube. So this one does that kind of effect. I would say that this is pretty much a drugstore dupe of the Pat McGrath one. I think this one is just a little less dramatic. It also wears really nicely. I do find that it does smudge a little bit if I wear my makeup for a really long day, so I do still go in with my NYX Cosmetics mascara on my bottom lashes just to prevent that. but this on my top just stays put. It doesn't crumble at all during the day. It just is nice. So now let's get into my likes. So these are the products that I have a couple critiques about them. So the first one is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. I really love this on my face, but under the eyes I find that it does kind of a weird thing. It tends to darken up any concealer under my eyes, and I also find that it looks a little heavy under there as well. When I apply it under my eyes I can feel it and it's not the most comfortable. But with that being said, I do really enjoy this one on my face. So on my forehead, the apples of my cheeks, as well as my chin, I think it looks phenomenal. It blurs out my skin, it makes it look super smooth, but it also doesn't cut all of the shine all the way. There's still a little luminosity to it that I just adore. This one has been by far my most favorite powder I've ever tried from the drugstore, so I'll for sure be pulling this out every once in a while when I want my skin to look smoother. The next product here is the Haus Labs Eyebrow Pencil. This one's a pretty good eyebrow pencil. I do really adore all of the shades she came out with. It's super extensive. The formula is pretty solid as well. I just don't find it to be the most unique brow pencil out there. I feel like it's pretty on par to all the other ones I try. With that being said, I still will keep this in my collection because I do tend to run through pencils quite quickly, so I'll definitely use this one through. I have a foundation here, and this is the YSL Touche Éclat Le Teint Foundation. This one I find to be kind of unpredictable. Some days it looks phenomenal, like it just looks like skin, perfected skin, it's amazing, just simply beautiful. And then the next day it can look terrible. It can be super texture enhancing, it can look cakey. It's just weird. I find that this foundation is kind of finicky in the way that it doesn't play with other products very well. I find that it kind of reacts with whatever's underneath of it. It works the best when there's just a moisturizer underneath and no primers or glow boosters underneath at all, which is really too bad because you guys know how much I love my glow boosters. But yeah, sadly this one is quite unreliable for me. I'll still keep it around because those days that it did look good, I can't part with that. I have another complexion product to talk about here. This is the Bare Minerals Original Liquid Mineral Concealer. I've been really enjoying this one. The only problem that I have with it is I find that it can be a little too wet under the eyes, and I find that it looks incredible the first couple of hours that I'm wearing it, but after the 4-hour mark it really starts to crease up and settle into every little line I have. I do like to set this one with the Pat McGrath Under Eye Powder that I've been using for I don't even know how long, but I've never had a problem with that powder, so I know it's this concealer that's too wet. And they finally released this one so I can finally see the shade range, and I pulled it up on my computer here, and I don't know what these swatches are. They seriously look like blush swatches. I'll include a little screenshot here. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm just shocked to see such a yellow swatch and such a peach swatch. So this isn't my favorite concealer. It doesn't come close to my Pat McGrath one, my Kosas one, my Milk Makeup one, my Quo Beauty one. Those ones I far more recommend over this one right here. I have some liquid highlighters here to talk about. These are the NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminators. These are only in the section here just because I'm not sure about the shade range. I have it in my notes to pick up a new color next time I go to the drugstore. I really like how sheer these are. They're extremely lightweight and easy to use, and once you're done blending them, they eventually set down, so you're not there with sticky cheeks. Your hair won't stick into them at all, and the actual texture of them is beautiful. I just don't like these two shades for myself. The lighter one is too pink for my liking, and this one right here is obviously too deep for my complexion, but I know they have a couple more shades available. I think that these liquid highlighters are really worth checking out if you're into the creams and liquids. I think this is a solid formulation. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I were to compare the texture to any of the other liquid highlighters I have in my collection, I find that they're similar to the Marc Jacobs Beauty Do You Dewdrops. That kind of slippery gel texture that just feels nice but eventually sets down. That's what they really remind me of. So I'm happy I made that connection just now. I have another NYX product to discuss. This is the eyeshadow base. I've been using this on and off for the last 2-ish months, I believe. I think I forgot to throw this one into last month's roundup. But I will say that this one isn't as solid as my Fenty Beauty one. The Fenty Beauty one is so solid it doesn't let any of my natural oils seep through and ruin my eyeshadow looks. This one has happened a couple of times, so it's not as super strength, if you will. I still have been using this one on and off. I love how thin this formula is, but it still provides a waxy base. This is for sure the best eyeshadow primer I've tried from the drugstore, and I would recommend it full-heartedly. I just will say that it's not as heavy duty as the Fenty Beauty one, but I still am going to keep this around and I still use it every couple of days. And the last product in this section before moving on is the NYX Cosmetics mini lipsticks. I only have one in front of me here, but the other ones are in my drawer. This specific shade is my favorite. It's the shade Suntan. I wouldn't fully recommend these just because they have such a dry texture to them and I find them to be super tuggy, but I just love this specific color so much that I alter it just so I can wear it. I'm wearing it on my lips today with a little bit of gloss and some balm underneath. So that's how I alter it so I can wear it. So that's for sure a pain in the ass, but this color is so nice. It doesn't even read that special to me, but I don't know what it is, but I just can't stop reaching for it. Why? I'm gonna have to see if I have a dupe for it in my drawer, but I don't know. It's just a perfect brownie yellow based nude for my skin tone, and it just looks so good with all of the looks I've been doing recently. I don't know. I just love the color, but the formula is not it. I wish their lipstick formula was refined a little more to make them more hydrating or something, because their colors are so nice. So that's that on that. Now let's move on to my disappointments, or the products that were simply unremarkable to me, or the ones that I just forgot about, if I'm being honest. I'm going to start off with my biggest disappointment of the month. Is this? Yes, this is. And these are the Quo Beauty eyeshadows. They came out with these beautiful eyeshadow singles that look so interesting and so unique. Well, these browns aren't very unique, but they came out with these really interesting, cooler toned colors, and I was supposed to do a sponsored post with them, but sadly these have like no pigment to them at all. These are the shadows that I was talking about in I think my second vlog, where I had to leave a contract because I was supposed to create some content for them with this newer collection, but sadly these products were so not close to my standard. I just would not be able to sleep if I went ahead with it. I used this shade all over my lid, but it only built up to this color right here. It's super sheer, almost looks like a transitional color on me. It was so crazy. I could only build it up if I really sat there and built and built and built and built. I haven't had such a bad experience with any eyeshadow in so long. I feel like eyeshadows have come such a long way in the last couple of years. I haven't had any issues with any of them for a while now until this collection. So that was really too bad. I have a lot of wins from Quo, but sadly this one was a complete fail. I have another eyeshadow palette here. This is the NYX Cosmetics Diamonds and Ice Please palette. The specific one is Jeweled and Jaded. Sadly, I found that there was some quality issues in here for sure. They had these pressed shimmer shades in the couple palettes that they came out with over the holidays, and all of them just fell apart, crumbled, even when I was trying to swatch them lightly. The only shades that I did really enjoy out of this palette were matte brown and the black, and that's not enough for me to justify this palette. I feel like those are very basic shades that are in pretty much any eyeshadow palette out there. I found that the shimmers ran really heavy on my eyelids and they were quite texture enhancing. I don't know, I just didn't get along with this palette, and there are definitely some manufacturing issues with it, so I wouldn't recommend it. I have a couple foundations to talk about. This one right here is the Catrice True Skin Foundation. This is the one I'm wearing on my skin right now. Talking about the formula itself, I love it. It's one of the best drugstore foundations I've ever tried. I wore this one all day. I went out with a mask today and it stayed put. I don't have any lines for my mask where my mask was sitting. I didn't set it with powder over here, and it looks amazing. The biggest thing for me is the shade range. Not only does it not go deep enough for my liking. I find that the undertones are whack. I had to mix 3 shades to get the shade I'm wearing on my skin right now, and I still look like a little yellow orange today. For my liking, the undertones are really weird. I used mostly pink tones on my skin today and I still look super yellow, so there's a lot of refining to do in that category. So I really hope that they refine it more or something, because the texture of the foundation is incredible. But I actually don't recommend it because the shade range is so whack. Unless you're down to buy 3 colors to get your perfect match, but then you're spending like $30 anyways, so you might as well spend it on a foundation that will actually match you in one bottle. I don't know. You guys, you can decide on that one yourselves. But for me, I wouldn't go through the hassle. The other foundation here is the Bare Minimals. Kind of. The Bare Minerals Original Liquid Mineral Foundation. This one completely crumbled on my face no matter what I used underneath. I did try to use this in an Instagram chooses my makeup video, and it just completely like crumbled and curdled on my skin, pilled up every which way. It just looked horrible, and I tried it out a couple more times just to give it a try, and it happened every time. No matter if I used just a moisturizer underneath or any primers, it just always looked super pilly. So this one was a hard pass. Also, the shade range is also whack. So this one here is a really nice color. This is the shade, what are you? Sienna. This one looks like a beautiful summer shade that I would just slather all over my face over the summertime, doesn't it? But sadly, the formula is a little too glossy, so no matter what I did, it always looked patchy on my skin, or it would remove parts of my foundation underneath, and it was just kind of a greasy mess. The finish itself is too shiny for my liking, and I don't know, it just didn't perform well. Really hard to use, so I would for sure skip over this. And I'd go for any other of their formulas that they offer. They offer some liquid powder blushes and some that are similar to the serum blushes from NYX Cosmetics. I would recommend those far more than this formula right here. Second last product, you guys. This right here is the Makeup by Mario Pro Volume Lip Gloss. This shade in specific is Golden Nude. I find this lip gloss to be very basic. I would not recommend it at all. I find that this formula is similar to the ones that were around when I was like in junior high, beginning of high school. And it also smells like super cheap lip gloss. It's just, it doesn't reflect his brand at all, in my opinion. I would stay far away from this gloss formula. And the finish itself isn't even that impressive at all either. And the last product here to conclude this video is the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. This one is so popular, and I ask myself every day, for why? For what? How? This mascara really isn't it. It's all over TikTok. I see at least one TikTok a day of this damn mascara. I don't know how they're getting those results. I've tried and I tried, but it doesn't work out for me. I find that this wand is way too bendy for me. It's really hard to follow through the lash to get that insane lift and length. It just doesn't happen for me. Every time I use this mascara, it made my eyelashes look super stubby and just unpleasant in general. I don't get the hype at all. So I wouldn't recommend this one at all. And there we have it. There is my March roundup for you. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments down below. That'd be oh so helpful. I'll make sure to link all of these products in the description down below as always, so you can check them out for yourself, see other people's reviews, all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye!